What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place, get into this podversation. I wanted to talk about a couple of things and get your thoughts on it. And I want to dive a little bit deeper later when I get some time to talk about a few of the things that Katt Williams exposed in the sit-down conversation with Shannon Sharpe. And that's what I'm talking about today with regards to the Katt Williams sit down with Shannon Sharpe, and just really not to, be his supporter, because to be honest with you, it was a hard listen. It was not as hard of a listen for me because Katt was doing the majority of the talking and I can deal with him. I don't really listen to Shannon Sharpe a whole lot because, just being as beautifully honest as I can, I don't really care to hear him speak. And I say that coming from before he even had this clubshayshay podcast, because my husband used to watch him on the show that he was on with Skip Bayless, I believe his name is. I don't watch sports, but my husband does watch sports. So when I would hear him speak, I always used to hear it, and I would tell my husband, I don't like the way he sounds. And he was just very loud and a bit obnoxious. So to have that type of voice that he has, with him just being overly loud and obnoxious as well, it's a hard listen for me. Listening to this sit down with Katt Williams wasn't very hard for me because Katt was doing the majority of the speaking. But apparently he's gotten a lot of criticism over the sit down with Katt Williams, and a lot of people are saying that he didn't exercise good interview skills. And the thing about this is that Shannon Sharpe is not, one, definitely not a journalist, and two, he's not even an interviewer. He came from being in sports, being a participant, a player in sports, to getting the opportunities that he has had in sports casting to be able to speak and give commentary. That does not make you an interviewer, and it definitely doesn't make you a journalist. So with that being said, the sit down that Katt had with him clearly was mainly Katt Williams having the opportunity to come on this platform where he's getting, I believe at this point in time, over almost 30 million views, if it's not at that yet. So clearly this has garnered him a lot of views and a whole lot of money for him not really doing much work, but having the platform and Katt giving him the opportunity to come to his space to speak. Because for me, this was Katt responding to people that have been on Shannon's podcast before, that has said some things that Katt felt was a direct hit to him or an indirect hit in some way. And he wanted to respond and speak to those things, as well as other things that has transpired that he may have said before, but didn't really get the views, the eyes, and the ears on it that he was able to get in this time. So it was just pretty much like he just pulled out the clip and started firing until the clip was unloaded, in my personal opinion. So if anything, we can call it a conversation more so than we should be calling it an interview. So he says, I never said I was a journalist. Follow-up question, with what? And I agree with that. He's just someone that has this platform. He is well known. Katt gave him the grace to come on his platform. And honestly, he's getting a lot of views without him being able to claim doing much work for it. It wasn't like a Gayle King interview sit down that she did with R. Kelly, or Oprah Winfrey sit down with Prince, whatever his name is, and Meghan Markle. It's not an interview. It was Katt sitting down and saying whatever the heck he felt like saying. And I honestly believe that behind the scenes, he may be getting heat from some of the people that he called friends, like the Steve Harveys, the Ricky Smileys, you know? So to have someone that has has an alt with these people that he calls friends that he has had on his platform prior to him, it may have been uncomfortable for him. But there's that. Was it really an interview, or was it just a sit down conversation and allowing this person to say whatever they wanted to say? He shouldn't have to get in the middle of that. And I do believe that he attempted to a few times, but I think he realized that it was far from out of his league, and he just needed to sit back and allow Kat to say whatever he wanted to say. But I also do believe that some people may be pissed off at him because he didn't have it edited to cut some things out, because it made these people feel like it made them look bad. But if Kat is just clearly speaking his experience, who is Shannon Sharpe to come in there and cut those things out and edit it? I feel that that shows integrity on his part to not try to cover and protect the people that he says are his friends that he had on the platform before, like Cedric the Entertainer and whatever, because I don't want this to make my friends look bad, because that would have made it look bad on his part with Katt Williams, when Kat said in the very freaking beginning how he respected him, and he doesn't do, many sit downs and so-called interviews with many people, but he respected him. So that would have made him look unintegral and unethical if he were to cut those things out that Kat said. I don't see how anything that Kat said could cause Chad to get into a legal pickle, because honestly, Kat was pretty much saying what his experiences were. So how can anyone blame Shannon for that, So before he even did the response, when I started seeing some of the comments where people were like, well, he didn't check him on this. This wasn't a really great interview. He didn't really interview him well. For those who have the critiques, right? I was like, well, it wasn't really an interview if we want to be honest about it. It was a conversation. If we want to call it a conversation, more so than it was Katt Williams just going off, releasing everything that was on his chest, and Shannon Sharpe just getting a few opportunities here and there to ask a quick question to get a little bit more, to elaborate, I should say, a little bit more, or to get some understanding on something that he said, So we just have to really be honest with the fact that not just because someone has a podcast and they have a big name like Shannon Sharpe and a big platform, and they're able to garner these sit downs with people who are very well known, celebrities, entertainers, and influencers or whatever, it doesn't make them a journalist or an interviewer. It just makes it someone that someone else didn't mind giving them the time of day and the opportunity to speak to them. And that's it. But I wanted to just ask this quick question, and this might be shady, but you can let me know your thoughts, because honestly, I don't follow Shannon Sharpe. And like I said in the very beginning, I don't really watch his podcast. And one of the reasons why is just simply because I don't really care for how he sounds. His voice is, for me, is just a bit much. And he just does come across to me as a bit obnoxious. And I've seen some of the tweets that he's done over the years and how he, feels about women and things like that. So honestly, he's just not my cup of tea. That's just my personal opinion. But I wanted to ask this question, and you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section, because I thought about this too, but I never said anything, because it's just like, well, whatever, because I'm not here to shame anyone if they are living a life that is one way in the dark, but another in the light, because if it doesn't have anything to do with me, it doesn't have anything to do with me. But a lot of people do question the status, we'll just put it like that, of Shannon Sharpe, okay? And someone asked this question, and I'm going to ask you guys the question so you can let me know what you think. Someone says in a comment section somewhere that I read, it says, all I want to know is why Shannon called his talk show Club Shay Shay. It just makes me feel like that name should be for a bunch of girlfriends hanging out, discussing life, drama, and world events. But his show is popping regardless of the name, but I'm just asking for a friend. And listen, it is one of those things that some people do question, even if they're not really questioning it out loud. Because again, it's not like people are trying to shame him if that is the life that he's living. And maybe that's why he really doesn't want to be in a relationship with a woman, because maybe you just are not into women and you are not going to force yourself to be in a public relationship with a woman for the sake of appeasing the public. And I can understand that too. And listen, not every homosexual male is feminine. But, I saw some comments about him, in the Club Shay Shay name and, doing high kicks and baton twirling and things like that. Listen, I don't know, but it is something that just kind of makes you think. And I just never, hey, everyone's different. But when I hear Shay Shay, I think of a female and I think of femininity. It was weird to me when I heard that it was called Club Shay Shay. And yeah, Shannon, some people may say, well, that's more of a feminine name, but Shannon is a name like Leslie, Lindsay, that can be male and female, but sometimes it does sound more feminine than masculine. But there are men, like I said, that are named Lindsay, like Lindsey Graham, even though he, again, is another single man that is of a certain age and has never been married and doesn't have any kids, and people wonder. So he may not be the best. He may not be the best example, but just for the sake of the name, we know that there are females named Lindsay and there are males named Lindsay. We know he is named Shannon. I guess, we see more females named Shannon. I have, a client named Shannon, but that's a female. And so some people do wonder. So I just thought I would ask the question. Again, I am not saying that he is. I'm not saying that he isn't. I don't know. But it is a bit weird to just hear Club Shay Shay. I would even, if it was just Club Shannon or Club Shan, but Shay Shay, it just makes you go, But anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful. And now I'm going to say bye. Inside the situation. Wonder